Now the question that I have been dreading and really pondering and thinking hard about answering. What aren't you and Shani speaking to each other anymore? Which I guess he basically means, why aren't you and Shani speaking to each other anymore? And I have decided that I'm gonna just take a very honest approach about this and tell you guys what happened. While I was in New York, one of the days that I was in New York, I was having an incredibly bad day, and me and Fernando were actually lost someplace where we didn't know how to get back home, and it was a bad part of the neighborhood, and I was about ready to cry because my day was just horrible. And I'd been texting Shani and Nicole about Nicole being in one of my videos, and long story short, Shani kept telling me Nicole doesn't want to be in your videos. She's having a bad and rough time in her life, and she just won't tell you because she's nice. So I said, alright, Shani, well, I'm gonna call Nicole and ask her personally myself, because I wanted to find out for myself from Nicole. I just wanted her to tell me. I didn't want it to come from somebody else. I wanted to actually hear it from her. And so I was like, well, Shani, I'll call Nicole. And Shani called me, and she was very upset. She's like, what? You don't believe me? You don't trust me? And she thought I was going to force Nicole to be in one of my movies, which you can't force anybody to do anything that they don't want to do. And I was like, no, I'm not. I just want to hear it from her. I don't want you to be telling me about her problems, etc., etc. And Shani's like, I'm mad at you right now. And I was like, ugh. You know, this was it. Me and her had been into a really, really big fight prior to this argument. And it was a really, really big, bad, nasty fight where basically Shani just insulted everything that I am. And and then of course I insulted her back in a very uncool way, and the way that I'm not proud of, a way that I should not have handled her just bashing the crap out of me. But it was a horrible fight, and we both decided that since we were so nasty and awful, we'd forgive each other. But I told Shani, don't ever treat me like that again, and here she was yelling at me, I'm mad at you, and I was having a bad day. And I was like, Shani, you would be mad at me if the sky was blue. Just out of nowhere, you're just mad at me. Just because I decided to call Nicole myself instead of hearing about her life's problems from you. And so Shani started cussing at me. And I was near tears before she called me. And so I hung up on her. And I get a call from my ex-boyfriend now. He calls me later and tells me that she has posted all this crap about me on her Facebook, and she's basically rallied all of her friends to kick my butt. They're all saying, yeah, we're gonna beat Sarah up the next time we see her, and we hate her. She had 3 or 4 different people saying they were gonna beat me up, and Shani's like, now I know who my real friends are, and I hate Sarah, and she's just terrible, all this awful stuff. And then she actually has the nerve, the nerve, to call me at 6 o'clock in the morning, same day, because I was supposed to see her the next day. Me and Fernando were going to pick her up from school, and me and her were going to hang out. She actually has the nerve to call me after all this stuff on Facebook and say, hey, you guys still going to pick me up from school? And I was like, what? Are you serious? After you put on your Facebook that you never want to see me again and you hate me? I thought that when you said you never wanted to see me again and you hate me, that meant, don't come and pick me up from school. So she got mad. Oh, you screwed me out of a ride. She's like, I yell at all my friends like this. And basically, I was like, well, you don't treat me that way. And she's like, well, if you ever want to save our friendship, call me back at 12 or whatever, and we'll see if you want to work this out. So I did call her back at 12, and I prayed about it, and I thought about it, and, I've basically given more to Shani in my life than I've ever given to anyone, and I can still say that wholeheartedly. I've given her everything. I've sacrificed so much, a few of those things being sleep. For several months, I've sacrificed, tears and time and blood and sweat into making her happy, and I've given her everything, and I never expected anything in return from her except for her to love me and not treat me this way. And I said, Shani, I love you so much, but you cannot treat me this way. And she's, well, oh, you're not my real friend then. And I was like, so I'm not your real friend because I won't take the mental abuse? I'm not your real friend because I don't let you call me up every once in a while and cuss me out? She's like, but Sarah, you know, I have these disorders, I'm on medication. I was like, don't blame your disabilities on the way that you treat me, because she had been telling me all week, you know, I take responsibility for my disorders. And I was like, no, you don't. You do not take responsibility for your disorders. You're blaming your bad behavior and the way you treat your friends on them. And you have a choice. She had a choice, you know, not to treat me that way. I said, look, you may treat your other friends that way, and they put up with it. And I love you to death, and I will always love you, but you are not going to treat me with such disrespect when all I have done for you is give, and I still don't expect anything back from you. I just want you to love me and not do that. She started cussing me, basically, on the phone. Yelling and screaming, and I was like, we shouldn't be friends anymore. I was like, very calm. Well, obviously it's hurting you, and it's hurting me, and we just shouldn't do this. And she's still screaming and cussing, and I'm sitting there and I'm saying, Shani, I love you so much, I don't regret being your friend. She's screaming, F you, you effing whore, I regret all the time that I spent on you, and I hate you. And while she was screaming and cussing at me, I said, Shani, I love you so much, I will always love you. Goodbye. And I hung up. That's the last time that we ever talked. And as far as I know, she doesn't really miss me at all. She still thinks that she was right. And I have nothing but love for Shani. Shani is, you know, she's my girl. I have been missing her a lot lately. It actually is, I might actually cry. If I think about it too much. But she's always welcome to have my love. It is still there when she's willing to see and realize all the sacrifices that not only I have made for her, but other people that she's hurt like this have made for her. And while they've all gone and crawled back to her and made up, or she's contacted them for whatever reason, I'm not going to be one of those people that just crawls back to her. When she realizes what she's done, and when she really just basically wants to accept my love and not treat me the way that I don't deserve to be treated, that no one deserves to be treated, then we'll be friends again. I'm still here. I'm still waiting.